Naruto chapter 688 is full of controversy. We have Obito seemingly breaking the laws of the Naruto universe, and then we have Kishimoto backtracking on all the emotions that we felt in 687. I definitely agree that the beginning of this chapter really did an injustice not only to Obito's character, but to the fan base as well. At the end of 687, we were able to get some kind of closure, some kind of resolution to all the mixed emotions that Obito was feeling. He was finally able to see Ren again, and she essentially told him that you did your best and that's all we can ask of you, and was willing to go to the other side with him. She had been waiting all this time to see him, and they were ready to finally be reunited. The beginning of this chapter throws that all out the window, but if you think about it, can you really blame Obito for not wanting to leave at this particular point? Spirits, in general, tend to be stuck when they still have things that are unresolved. Sure, he was able to help Kakashi and Sakura, Naruto and Sasuke, but still, his best friend is on the battlefield. He is essentially a sitting duck. He really can't do anything to defend himself, and he can't really offer any offensive abilities to help Naruto and Sasuke. So you can't really blame Obito for not wanting to leave, because he's still worried that his best friend is going to die, and he doesn't want him to die. He wants him to have a future. So at this point, I can't really blame Obito for not wanting to leave, but it really does take away all of the feelings that we felt in last week's chapter. It really feels like a betrayal to us, but when you think about it from his point of view, he's still worried about him, and it's in his nature to want to help people. So I'll let Obito slide with that. It is disappointing that that's where Kishimoto decided to go with it, but that's what we got. People are also complaining how he's able to leave the limbo world to rejoin the living world. And I really don't have much of an issue with this, only because I think of Obito right now as a spirit, which is essentially a form of energy. As we know in the Naruto universe, shinobi and other living beings are essentially containers of chakra, which is a form of energy. Energy can flow wherever it wants to flow, within reason, obviously. So, since energy can't be created or destroyed, it has that freedom to move about, I don't see why he shouldn't be able to cross worlds. We've seen it before in other anime series, not to the same extent, but we have seen spirits, dead people, dead characters return. With one example I can come up with the top of my head, Dragon Ball Z. The Dragon Ball Z universe kind of makes it seem okay. You have Vegeta, he died. He had basically sacrificed himself. He was able to return as a dead person to help out in the fight. So I don't really have a problem with Obito being able to do that as a spirit. I agree he should have done this before he died, but if you think about it, when he was crumbling into ash, his Sharingan wasn't good anyway, so what good would it have done him to pluck it out and then give it to Kakashi if it was just going to turn it into ash anyway? So I kind of understand why he didn't do beforehand, but again, that's where Kishimoto decided to take this story. The other issue that people are having is the fact that Kakashi has two Sharingans. He's not a Senju, he's not an Uchiha, he's not an Uzumaki, he has no relation to their clans. And yet, he has two Sharingans. I reconcile this discrepancy with kind of the principles that we know from Edo Tensei and just possession in general. So Obito leaves Limbo World, he comes to the real life world and goes inside of Kakashi's body. And they have their conversation about, you know, how he should be Hokage and Naruto should be the 7th. Well, Kakashi's the 6th. I think that's a great choice, but I don't think that's gonna happen because we know Kakashi really doesn't want that role but he's definitely suited because he has all those qualities. And then he says to Kakashi, remember your nickname. You are Kakashi of the Sharingan. And then we get a panel of him with the two Sharingans. My theory is that because Obito went inside of Kakashi's body, he is using the same principles that we have from Edo Tensei. As you recall, with Edo Tensei, a spirit is summoned from the afterworld and is brought into the living world to inhabit another body. Well, in this case, Obito is not really taking control of Kakashi's body, but he is transferring his abilities to Kakashi for a period of time, whatever that may be. We don't know. It could be for a few hours, it could be for several days, it could be whatever length of time he has. So that's what I think that whole scenario is that Obito has just taken over Kakashi's body, given Kakashi control, and allowed him to use his powers freely. That's what I think happened. We probably will get an explanation next week if you think about it, because Sasuke did ask, how is this possible? I don't think Kishimoto is just going to throw this out there and be like, yeah, we're just going to accept this as fact and we're going to go on. I think someone is going to give an explanation, whether it's Kakashi himself or Obito or somebody is going to give an explanation to how Kakashi was able to use two manga-ka Sharingans. The rest of the chapter was pretty beast. We have Naruto using the Super Bijou Rasen Shuriken, and that looks epic as heck. I'm really looking forward to seeing that animated. But like a lot of the techniques that Naruto uses, sometimes they're not perfect, and this one isn't either. Sending all these white arms after people, and we find out that if they touch you, you're in deep doo-doo. I'll be nice and say that. So, lots of craziness happened in this chapter. Overall, I have to say I give it a 6.5 out of 10, only because of that backtracking of emotions that Kishimoto threw into this week's chapter. Other than that, pretty solid action chapter. And I look forward to seeing where Kishimoto goes with this next. I have no idea. This story has really taken off in so many different directions that I never foresaw in my wildest dreams. So, we'll have to find out what happens next. So that is all my thoughts. Those are my impressions, my explanations of how things went down in this chapter. Let me guys know what you guys think in the comment section below. Continue this discussion. What do you think? Do you think I'm just wrong? Do you think these are possible explanations? Or do you have your own explanations as to what's going on here? And did you feel betrayed by Kishimoto when he decided that he was going to bring Rin and Obito back in the beginning of this week's chapter? So that's everything for this video. Again, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.